Okay. All right. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Hey guys,
I'm Vi.
I'm Sue. This lady from Illinois was living the dream for a whole year when her company was overpaying her. Now they want all their money back. Let's see what's up.
All right, so let's see what she said. Company overpaid me for an entire year by mistake and now is demanding I paid all back. Location, Illinois. So I need some help understanding my opinions here. I work in account management, and for the past 14 months, I've been receiving an additional $440 per paycheck on top of my base salary. I assume this was for my skills supplements that have been approved. I've taken on several additional responsibilities around that time. My direct manager had mentioned something vague about compensation adjustments in a meeting. I was responsible for client payments all throughout. This is a financial job and coordinating some projects. I never got anything in writing, but the payment showed up constantly. So I didn't ask questions. You should. You've been like extra
Up, Keisha.
a little extra bank for my buck doesn't hurt. Last week, HR called me and told me there have been a payroll error. Apparently, someone entered a reoccurring bonus code that was meant for a different employee in a different department.
Oh no.
And it just kept running for over a year without anyone catching it. Total overpayment is around $8,700. They handed me a repayment agreement to sign asking for a full repayment within 60 days.
Within 60 days? It took me a whole year to waste all that money and you wanted it in 60 days.
This is crazy. They suggested that it will be deducted from my salary or that I would have to simply pay it myself. After talking to the team leader and the management, I was told that my salary would be reduced to the level specified in the contract, which is fine, but I'm not doing extra work for other people, which is not right. I told them I needed some time to think and didn't sign anything. Here's my problem. I didn't save that money. I adjusted my budget when I started receiving it, paid down some debt, covered some medical expenses. I even traveled a little bit.
Girl, you lived.
Genuinely don't have $600, $200 sitting somewhere I can just hand back. My questions are, am I actually legally required to repay this? Does the fact that they let this run for over a year without catching it affect their claim? And if I do have to repay, can they force the 60-day timeline, or can I negotiate something longer? Maybe I can just quit, as if finding a new job with my experience will be easier, because I don't know how to work with these people after this. Like, this is not my fault, but the fault of a bunch of managers, executives, lawyers, financiers, etc., who signed everything and make payments. But I'm the one that has to pay. I haven't received the debt repayment yet, so I think I need some advice.
Ooh, okay. We did some research on the laws in Illinois. We're not lawyers. Just disclaimer real quick.
Yeah.
We're just reading the research online
We'll see.
about in what kind of shit she's into. Okay? Okay.
Say.
In Illinois, employers can legally recover overpayments, often by deducting from future paychecks if the error is caught quickly, the next pay period. For later discovery, in her case, both parties should agree on a repayment schedule. If the employee refuses, the employer can pursue legal actions. Key details regarding overpayment in Illinois include voluntary agreement. If the employee agrees that an overpayment occurred, the entire amount can be deducted from their first regular payday after the error was discovered. Repayment plan. If the amount is large, employees can often negotiate a repayment plan, such as smaller deductions over several pay period. Disputed amount. If the employee disputes the overpayment, it may be treated as a cash advance or require legal action for recovery according to Illinois Administration Code Title blah, 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 blah. Limitations. Employers should generally avoid taking unilateral deductions from paychecks without notifying the employee. And they must provide an itemized statement of deduction as noted on the Illinois Department of Labor website. If you're facing this situation, it is recommended to review your paycheck stubs, confirm the overpayment with your employer, and discuss a reasonable repayment schedule to avoid legal actions. So she is obligated to return the money. They cannot force her to pay it all at once. Another thing here is it's like voluntary agreement. If the employee agrees that an overpayment occurred, you know what that means right there? If the employee agrees, she mentioned a few things, a few discrepancies where she misunderstood their communication as, oh, so I do deserve this money. And she has proof of that. That right there can be an issue for them to then prove that she does have to return the money.
Exactly.
So it's all in the sauce, meaning in the evidence that you provide and all that stuff. But you know, unless that evidence can be solid about when they mentioned to her that she deserves a little more and this and that and so on and so forth, then she's stuck in a pickle.
She has to find that evidence for sure, because she just said something about vague about compensation adjustment. In a meeting. So, girl, you gotta find.
I do feel like morally, me personally, I would return that money. I would immediately sit down. Don't let it go to court. I would. It's a matter of morals and ethics. They made a mistake. They didn't do it on purpose, and it's likely that the worst things get. It's likely that they'll have to fire this other person for a mistake. I get it. That is messed up, but they didn't do it on purpose. What I would do is I would immediately sit down. Okay, let's plan this out. 60 days, not happening, because it took me a whole year to waste that money. Give me a year to pay it back. So I would say that. But if you decide to leave this job and then run to another job, this will follow you, because letters of recommendations, the fact that that job is in your Social Security records and all that stuff. If they decide to contact this company and say like, hey, listen, how was it with her working there? And they explain how things played out, that's not gonna look good on you. It's not. They might say, well, you did make a mistake overpaying her. That's on you. But then they would think, but what if on our end we make any mistake and she doesn't take accountability on her end and take the moral ground on this or the ethical ground on it? No, I wouldn't take that chance. Not over $8,000 if I'm getting paid way more than that. Not happening. Oh, you want to say something?
No. Continue. Let's see what the comment said.
Robert Boston said, as an employee, you are obligated to monitor your paycheck receipts. If something is off, it's your responsibility to bring it to your employer's attention. Pay it back, negotiate payment terms if you don't have the funds in the bank. A judge will not accept your statement, I assumed, or spent the overpayment on a vacation. You are lucky the company isn't requesting payment of the overpayment plus interest. You don't want to go to court on this as you'll lose. Work it out with your employer. Do SEMS 32. Negotiate the raise you were promised a year ago for that extra responsibility. Negotiate that the raise cover what you owe them over the repayment plan and go back to living on your original agreed upon salary. That's a good negotiation, I would say, but it depends on how you word it. Because it says here, years ago, the extra responsibilities, as she was promised, it didn't say that they promised her anything.
There was no signed document.
Yeah, and she didn't say that in her comments, like, oh, we promised you this as a return of that.
She just overtook the extra work, assuming that she was getting compensated for.
So I would not take his advice or her advice because she's assuming that was promised. That's not a good advice right there. It's plain simple. Unless it was promised to you, that's not something you can talk about. That and the fact that even if you worked and they said if you work, depending on your performance, we'll pay you more. That still doesn't give you the right to take the money and then use it to negotiate once the money's in your hand. Because that's not how unfortunately, that's not how it works. Now, Ginger Snap 725 said, this happened to me. My company overpaid me by $20,000 in my first 8 months because I replaced a guy who was there for 30 years and he earned a higher commission rate. No one thought to change it and I didn't know. They eventually caught it 8 months later. The company was reasonable and deducted it from my commission check each month until I was paid back, rather than having me write them a check for $20,000. This is honestly probably the best bet. So I'd see if they'll work with you to do that. I also spent a lot of the extra money. I had been planning my wedding at the time and spent a bit more than I probably otherwise would have. I cried when I found out, but it is what it is, unfortunately. I'm shocked. How you get paid $20,000 extra in only 8 months and you don't notice? You're either very reckless and loose about money,
Or you're not even paying attention.
or you're lying,
Yeah.
or you're lying. You did know, and
You just was like,
at least,
okay,
I know, right?
I'm just receiving money, abundance.
You know what? At least this person had the
good month.
decency to say, okay, let's get into a plan immediately, so on and so forth. So, guys, the laws in every state is different, but according to Illinois laws, yeah, buckle up and pay up.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, the person that was behind the payroll, they got to get a review too, because the heck, what if it happens again, you know? That is also that causes a lot of problems in companies.
Yeah.
Having to deal with having to review, make sure the person that's in charge of that is actually doing their job correctly. Because it then does like a ripple effect as well within the company. Like, yeah, you guys got to be making sure, like,
Yeah.
you guys are reviewing that stuff.
Yeah, like-
yeah, he made that mistake, but still, like, you have, that's your job. Like, you have to review before you send out any checks, you know?
Definitely reprimanding this person, but also assessing, does this happen often with this person, that they make mistakes like that? When it comes to numbers, you don't want to make mistakes. So, like, is it something that happens often? Did it ever happen before? If it never did, write them on probation, monitoring them for 6 months or whatever the case may be, and probably find a way to make them a little bit financially responsible, I would say. I don't know. Maybe the interest should be charged
On the person.
on that person specifically.
Yeah.
But aside from that, if this person made that mistake once, firing them would be extreme. You got to have an escalation process anyway. I know money's involved, and it's like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
This is costing us money, but
Yeah.
sometimes the way that you handle something leaves a certain impression on the employees about the company itself. You don't want to let it go, because then employees do whatever they want. But at the same time, you want to show your employees that if they make a mistake, they have a way to make up for it, so that they can get back on that positive energy at work, on that positive culture at work. So yeah. Let us know what you guys think. Were you ever in a situation where you got paid an amount that was not appropriate, whether it was too high or below your pay rate? And how was it handled? Did you get fired? Did you end up in court? Did the person who made the mistake in HR, did they get in trouble? What happened?
Yeah. Tell us the cheese make.
Let us know.
Let us know.
Love the cheese.
Yeah. Did you go on a beach vacation?
What did you do with that money?
Just
That's the other
something.
thing.
Yeah. Let us know. Bye.
Hello, V.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.